All right, everybody. Good morning. Let me know. This is Rebecca. Can somebody let me know if you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Do you still?
Oh, we can't hear the sound. I know what. Okay, there we go. Okay, I think I fixed the problem. Can somebody tell me if they can hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, good deal. Sorry about the late start, everybody. Looks like we are good to go. So we're gonna get started and just continue our conversation from the consortium on tab today. I wrote down a few things. Start with those, and also really quick, be sure to mute yourself if you have any background noise going on. It can hear just like a couple people, so make sure you do that. Okay. So the first thing, we have Shri and April here too. Sorry, I didn't introduce them and let you all know that they're here. You're heading the really lucky to have them with us. These are giving you a brief, I guess, tutorial show you areas to referral reasons. So I think that's where we're going to start. Really, I'm having some computer problems. Okay, sounds like the sound isn't working. Let's see. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to troubleshoot the sound because I'm getting a lot of messages that you can't hear me. This is Rebecca. Can you hear me better now? Somebody let me know through the chat box.
I can hear you again.
Okay, is this more clear? Okay. Good deal. Okay, so I think the first thing we're going to do is just chat a little bit about what I was saying last week about adding a barrier to a referral. So when you go in and add your first class bundle, can you see the tab screen too?
No.
Can you see the tab screen? Can somebody let us know? Okay. So you're going to add your first slide bundle, and then as the provider is referring in, you're going to put that referral reason in the referral activity. So Sheree is going to show you that. She's going to get that pulled up.
I'm going to add the first 5 new visit bundles. Go to your universal add button and your activity bundle here. And then you see the screen. So you go to your first 5 episodes and you choose your bundle. That's the first 5 new client bundle. And if you want to change the default owner, it's Rebecca right now. So if I want to change it to myself, I can do that here. And then you have your referral activity, your complete assessment, care coordination, obtain documentation for your consent and release, and send letters, satisfaction survey, and you save your bundle here.
Moving a little slow today. Even Tab knows that it's Monday.
Okay, so you have your referral activity here. So this is your referral in into your program, into first 5. So you see the edit pencil button, you go to edit.
So this is where you're going to add the referral in from the provider. But then you're also going to add that same referral reason, or one or multiple if there are multiple, as a barrier. So I mentioned this last week at the consortium, but we need I guess essentially it's kind of like you're entering that referral reason twice. You're entering it as a referral, and then you're entering it as a barrier. And the reason why we are requiring you do that is that think about tab for first 5 in terms of data collection. So that way we know which referrals were by providers, but then we're also capturing them as barriers because you have to follow up with a solution, if that makes sense.
So you choose your reason here, whatever it is, and it's a multi-select. So here, and your outcome, you can say successful. And screening type, whatever screening, referral outcome. Do you choose referral outcome here?
No.
No, right?
Yeah, we're not gonna choose referral outcome yet. But then, so if there are 2 reasons for referral in, she then will add the barriers that correspond with those referral reasons in.
Right. So you have your gray buttons at the bottom for all the activities where you can add goals, or organizations, providers, surveys, barriers, everything. You click on the barrier and then select your barrier here. Common. So,
Yep.
yeah. And then any notes if you want to. And then you save your barrier here. So this barrier is attached or linked to this particular activity. You save it. And you can find your barriers and solutions and whatever on the left-hand side. So I think this is the one I just added. So click it and it'll take you right to the activity. You have your referral activity, all your data you put in, your barrier, and you can add a solution here. You can either search by name, city, or county. And you have an advanced search option here if you want to look at more options. And you can search for the organization here or save like okay, so I'm gonna choose this one here, and I can add that as my solution to that barrier. Okay, so this is our referral activity, and you can see the barrier and solution, both of them are tied to the referral activity. And you can go to your left-hand side, select that, and it will take you right here. So this is how you add your barriers and solutions to any activity that you're working on.
So we really want to make sure that you are adding barriers for every referral reason identified. So not just the provider identified referral reasons, but then also whatever you or your developmental support specialist uncover as you're working with the family. So then you can add barriers under care coordination as well. So if you're identifying barriers throughout care coordination or developmental support, you can add those under care coordination as well. But we really need to make sure that you're adding those. That's how we're tracking our data to know what barriers first 5 families are having and what solutions we're finding for them and how many per family as well. And it sounds like, I think we have had some questions, so I'll read those off. You can add more than one reason for referral if the provider refers in for more than one reason. So you can do that. You would just add another referral. Yep. It's multi-select, so you can multi-select, sorry. And let's see, let me read the next question. If your solution is not an organization, so an example would be speech development and you provide activities, milestones, and a list of speech therapy evaluation options. That is a good question. So if it's not an organization, I'm looking at Shri and April, is there an option to select something that's not an organization?
If they're in our
Provider list.
I mean, if there's a specific speech pathologist.
So what if there's not, if the solution isn't an organization, but it's more like information given? I think that's what I'm reading.
Add that in the notes, maybe.
Have that
Should be.
Is that an option for the solution to kind of give material? No. So that might be something we'll have to talk about. That's a good point. So we'll write that down. So if the solution isn't an organization, what do you do if it's just giving material? So that's something that we'll look into and get back to you guys on.
At least for now, they can add it in the comments.
Yes, for now, you can add that in the comments. But we'll work on something that you can add for a solution. And then I know also it came up last week that, I guess we can talk about this now, that finding barriers and solutions, it's not always easy to find the solution that you're looking for. So if somebody wants to talk a little bit more about that, I know we had some conversation about that last week. Did anybody have a good example of a time where they've tried to find a solution? And I know we talked about how the barriers and solutions they're smart, so they're kind of supposed to guess what the right solution is. Somebody had mentioned at the consortium. wasn't working very well for them, or they weren't finding the solutions they needed. Anybody have that example for April and Shree?
Yeah, so this is Webster County. So when you type in like growth and development, if I'm looking up like Prairie Lakes AEA, it does not come up. And then I'm limited to maybe the first, however many it shows on the page, it'll only show the first A's, and then it doesn't go anything beyond that.
Yeah, we're thinking about your question. Sorry for the silence.
Okay.
When you're just using those three little, where it has organization name or the less information in there, the better, and the more specific, because it will only give you one page at the moment. So if you're very specific, if you're not sure what you want,
I know exactly what I want. I mean, I type, you could type in AEA, and then, but nothing for our, I mean, it goes outside of our county, so then I try and limit it to our county, and it's not. So then I try and find the county that maybe is the hub, and it still does not show up. You know, so.
Is that something that that Megan could write into the TAB help desk if it's a specific?
yeah, she'll send it to me, and
Okay.
I'll research it a little more and find out what's going on.
Okay, so Megan, if you want to email, what is it? TAB
Help desk at
Okay. TAB help desk at idph.iowa.gov. I'm not sure if others are having that issue or not, but it sounds like you've been the first one to at least find it. So maybe if you email that in, we can look up specifically what's going on there. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's I have common rules out, and I find that with multiple. So I'll just formulate a list, and I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
you would think though.
Yeah, just a couple for an example, and we can maybe at least determine if it's just you or if that's happening to others as well.
Yeah, well, and I don't I mean, you would think that if you type in Fort Dodge or Webster County, that, you know, it would give you multiple things that would fit within our community. And I mean, it's just very convoluted. It's pulling from everywhere, and it's not here. So
it's not local at all. It's pulling statewide.
Really?
Okay.
Like my doctors will show up in dentists. That's really good, but that's not where I'm referring a lot of the times.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll come up with the list.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like it's not specific to agencies, so maybe Shree and April can at least provide some tips, but
Okay.
then also we can work through some of those most common solutions you're using, so you'll know exactly what to type in every time.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so any other questions on adding those barriers? I know it might be a little confusing or it's been a little unclear, but I just want to clarify to make sure that you're adding the barriers every time you have referral reasons.
Hey, Rebecca.
Yep.
It's Diana. So I was noticing when they pulled up earlier the AEA, I was noticing like for Cedar Rapids it said Grantwood, all as one word, Grantwood AEA, but then it also had Grant space Wood AEA. So how would we know which one to pick?
That's a good question. I don't think you would know, but I think probably if you're noticing things being repeated, again, let us know so we can take one of them out, I think is what we would want to do. It looks like whenever the data migrated or however the data was input, that maybe some lists got in there twice, so they got duplicated unknowingly. So if you are noticing that, again, let us know and we can look at taking one out. I would probably select the one that's Grant space Wood, because that one seems the most accurate.
Yeah, this is the list that we got from the agency, so however we got it, they're in the system.
Okay.
That one's right.
And then another question I have, so is there a way for me to print out this list specific to like Lynn, Benton, and Jones County? Because I have volunteers working right now here, and this could be a project where I could give them a list of stuff we use, and then if I can print out this list specific to Lynn, Benton, and Jones County, they could compare it and see what we needed to have added and what needed to be deleted so that we could get that to tab. Is there a way for me to print that?
Okay, so it sounds like you can export one county at a time.
Okay.
Is that right? So, and so I guess, yeah, that wouldn't, I mean, you have 3 counties, right? So you would,
Right.
so could they start with like, we'll bring up Jones County, let's see. We're just kind of testing. If you guys keep your eyes on the screen, we'll see. Hey, Cap.
So this is a limited list for you. What if we do an advanced search?
We're doing an advanced search. Jones was a bad example because that's a common last name. But it looks like
Lynn. Yeah. All the providers. You mean here? In the advanced search?
so we're just testing to see how to do that. Sorry.
And if you don't have time to do that on this call, if you guys want to check into it and then email me back or let me know some way, because this would be a great project for our volunteer, so that we get this clean. But I don't want to waste everyone else's time while you're looking through there, unless everyone else is wanting to do the same thing.
Well, it sounds like we got it figured out.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
So when you go to advanced search, you have these filter options on the top. So, and when you go to more, you can search or filter by city, county, and zip code.
Okay.
So when you go to county, and you can click in Jones here, apply, and then you have the list of all community resources from Jones.
Okay, great.
And then you can, you see this checkbox here. So when you click that, you select all the results and you can export all.
Okay.
You can select all the figures or whatever you want.
Okay.
does that make sense?
I think so, yeah. Like, I mean, it looks right, and I tried to write it all down so I can make sure that I can replicate.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
And this also might be good.
This is how your export is done.
I don't know if I can. And this also might be good if you wanted to check your resources and make sure there weren't any duplications. This would be another way to quickly do that. You can just kind of see it down the list. I don't think you can see, we got it pulled up as an Excel. I don't think you can see that just because of the way Tab shares things.
Okay.
But it does pull up as a really nice Excel sheet that shows name, website, address, phone, etc. So when you export that, anyone that wants to do that, you'll be able to see it in a nice format.
Perfect, thanks.
Yep. Okay, so we'll move on. Another question that we got last week was on the satisfaction survey. So I know there was quite a bit of conversation around this, and you know, it's only been a few days since the consortium, so I haven't had a chance to follow up on looking at any other satisfaction survey options. So for now, we're still planning on calling every family in the first 5 programs 2 weeks after you close the case, and then in our guidance always, and then asking that one question, how satisfied were you with your first 5 services? And then it's just a 1 through 5 response. And I think we also have a could not reach option, so we'll pull it up. And this is how we're going to be able to tell the date that your case's closed, at least for now. And so it is really important that we're doing this survey. So we also have a no response option. So if you don't get a hold of the family, then you can. We're hearing a lot of feedback too, so if you have talking in the background, make sure you mute yourself. Okay. So for the most part, I would say, I think I mentioned successful versus unsuccessful here. For the most part, you could select successful, because if you don't get a hold of the family, you would just select no response. So I think for the most part, you would be putting successful for this activity. But like I mentioned before, we may be looking into other options for this satisfaction survey down the road. And this is a different survey than the metric survey where Mary now has you looking at the birth dates. This is a separate survey. So I know that that's probably been confusing for some, especially those that haven't been here since the beginning. But that's kind of a more enhanced in-depth survey that we use for our metrics, which helps measure the effectiveness of the program. And then this survey here built into tab, we also had the exact same survey in CARES. And this is our evaluation data. So this basically just evaluates at a very low level the satisfaction of first 5 clients. So even if you're not working with them, if they decline services, and you can still, get some sort of satisfaction response, that would be good too, because we want this for all clients. Any questions on the survey or what to select?
So if we lose contact with the family, then would that be a no response?
Yeah, I would select probably no response, especially if you lose contact and then you try again in 2 weeks. And I know you all try very frequently for those lost contact families, and you still don't get a hold of them, it would be no response, yes.
Okay.
Have contact with family for several months.
All right, I think I'm going to open it up to any other questions. Those were the notes that I had. I may have missed something from last week, so feel free to ask.
This is Megan again. Just to clarify, so if they're referred in twice, so you open an episode and then once it's closed, then you maybe 3 months down the road, then you start another episode. Is that how we're tracking it?
Yeah, exactly. If they were referred in twice. But I think, would you release them from your agency home at the end? I'm asking.
I don't think we would. I mean, sometimes our kids are in different programs, so I don't think I would release it for other purposes.
Just follow their agency. Okay, so sounds like you could release them from your agency, but if that's not part of your protocols, then yep, you would. Either way, you would open a new episode if it was a new referral in, and that way, for our data collection purposes too, it would distinguish the difference between the first referral in and the second referral in.
Rebecca, this is Stephanie from Trinity Muscatine Public Health. Can you hear me?
Yep, hey.
Hi. Hey, I was wondering, would it be possible to maybe have some standard work written for, these are the steps you follow when you first open up a family? and then these are all the steps that need to be done when you close a family? Would that be possible?
Yeah, so we have the user manual, but that might not be capturing exactly what you're thinking. So maybe what we'll do is we'll take another look at that and kind of see how we can make that more user-friendly.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, and I'll write that down. And maybe, Stephanie, I'll give you a call and we can work together on that.
Okay, sounds good.
So right now I have for follow-up, it sounds like we figured out how to search by county and export. But if you all are seeing those solutions or any of the organizations twice, let us know. And then we're going to look into adding a solution or trying to figure out how to identify if you're just providing materials to the family, if it's not an organization. Right now, you'll just type that in the notes, but we'll talk about if we'll add that as a solution as well. And then also, we can work on that user manual, making it more user-friendly, so it's helping guide you through the steps. Any other questions so far, things we can help clarify? All right. I think we'll close out then for now, but of course, I'm always here by email. If you have those tab specific questions, there's that tab help desk email. And this is a work in progress, but we're, I think, doing pretty well so far. So we will follow up on this again next month at our open mic, and we'll talk to you guys all soon and have a great Monday. Thank you.